The News 4i team is here for you.
The owner of this property has been trying to fix it up and turn it into a sales office for manufactured homes. But he says every night people are breaking in and making themselves at home. And he says the problem just keeps getting worse.
Staff members from several city departments were given a tour of the West Side property by the owner, Palm Harbor Homes. It's not just the sales office. Numerous manufactured homes on display to be purchased have been broken into, appliances stolen, graffiti, damage to walls, and worse.
People just sleeping inside our homes and using our toilets that aren't connected to plumbing.
The city says SAPD has made arrests and removed trespassers from the location.
And they make entry. They have no right to be there, and if we show up, they don't get to stay. So we get a criminal trespass affidavit signed by the ownership.
Trespass warning, if they trespass them twice, they go to jail. But like I said, they get out pretty quickly because there's not a lot of prosecution coming from the district attorney. It's not high on their priority list.
District Attorney Joe Gonzalez's office responded, so long as there is sufficient evidence to prove a criminal trespass case, our office will prosecute. Regardless, Palm Harbor Homes says the same intruders keep returning.
See that there's no glass anymore? So this has been kicked in. It's gone.
In a different part of town, not far from the airport, John Barker says he's been dealing with the same thing. His massive apartment complex, called Palacia, has 678 units.
I'd say we've had about 120 to 130 units broken into on a regular basis, and we have off-duty police officers working, but it's not enough. We need more help. This lock has been knocked out.
Barker suspects the break-ins are related to the Airport Migrant Center the city operated until last month. He believes the intruders would turn around and charge migrants rent to stay there. After one of his employees was shot at, Barker says he asked a city inspector for more patrols.
I asked him to please bring in police to help us. We'll pay for a substation.
The city told us Barker's property has been issued multiple violations and citations by inspectors. Barker says he's being retaliated against for complaining about the migrant center. He and Palm Harbor Homes both say they've paid thousands of dollars for additional security and to repair damage.
It's just going to continue going until somebody really cracks down.
The owners say all of this trash was cleared off of their property in the last 2 months. Now, instead of selling manufactured homes here, they're going to have to level this location and sell it. For the News 4i team, I'm Jay Avila.
Create beauty knowing it'll be washed away.
That same beauty has landed local street artist Joshua Henson at odds with law enforcement nearly a dozen times in the last year.
Being indelible. Put you in cuffs, take you in. Now you either get your go, or we go to jail for it and let them figure it out in the courts.
I'm asking you to stop, or I'm going to put you in handcuffs.
They're able to stop sidewalk chalk and have several officers involved, but they can't stop the stuff that's like killing people. And I don't know why they would stick to their guns whenever it's like that obvious that they're that wrong with someone who is approaching it so peacefully.
Normally, his criminal charges get dismissed, but a criminal mischief citation Henson received back in February following this encounter with Via Transit Police.
Guys, he's telling me he's going to detain me. Can you show me where this is illegal?
Right now, I'm giving you a lawful order.
Still stands, and Henson and his attorney Daniel Mailer are taking that citation to trial this month where a jury can weigh in.
Frankly, it should be considered as a giant waste of taxpayer money. The amount of resources, multiple officers involved, now you have the court system involved. The amount of resources and taxpayer dollars that are being expended on this is absolutely absurd, and it's certainly greater than the $100 ticket that Mr. Henson's facing as well.
So what does the law say? Henson is accused of criminal mischief, which makes it a Class C misdemeanor to make any marking on someone's property that results in a loss of less than $100 or causes a substantial inconvenience to others. Via declined to comment on Henson's citation. We asked the San Antonio Police Department what kind of public chalk art would rise to the level of criminal conduct, and they pointed me to the city's graffiti ordinance. And that ordinance expressly prohibits chalking on public property without consent.
It makes me wonder. I'm like, if that's the case, like, are they gonna start ticketing kids in the street?
Mailer thinks that law enforcement's interpretation of the criminal mischief statute and the city ordinance run afoul of the First Amendment.
I think it's likely that he'll be found not guilty. I do think it's also likely that a jury will be disgusted by the city pursuing this prosecution, by the arrest, the harassment. We certainly have bigger issues in this city than artists creating non-permanent murals on the sidewalk.
We'll keep you updated on the outcome of that trial. For the News 4i team, I'm Mariah Medina.
I'm inside the H5 data center downtown, which houses servers for many different companies. This is one of numerous data centers either locating or expanding in Bexar County.
Whether you're scrolling through memes or streaming a movie, your content moves through a data center like this one.
Everything you do, whether it's on your watch, on your phone, on your computer, everything comes through a data center so they can process that information, and then it goes to whoever, YouTube, Google, Facebook, the power company.
But this vital link to our online lives requires a lot of energy.
They're very power hungry, consume a lot of power, and also the flip side of that, they require a lot of cooling.
H5 is now expanding its facility to accommodate companies that want to use ultra-fast AI computers, which need even more power. According to ERCOT, running an internet search using AI consumes 10 to 30 times as much energy as a traditional Google search. The type of processor needed to run AI uses as much power as an average American home. Millions of those processors are expected to be manufactured this year. In anticipation of that, data centers are getting bigger, like this massive facility being constructed on the far west side. Experts say our power grid just isn't keeping pace.
No one can be surprised at this. The state's been growing, but we have not been adding power plants to the state to keep up with it. The market doesn't reward the addition of new power plants.
Ed Hers, who teaches energy economics at the University of Houston, says ERCOT and the legislature should have seen this coming and incentivized energy companies to build more power plants. Instead, the current system rewards energy providers with higher prices when supply gets tight.
The grid is so structured, the market's so structured, it actually pays them to have a few units go offline at peak demand periods.
All this has power customers like Melissa Hardy worried about more frequent outages and higher bills.
3 months down the road, they go, oh, we're going to have to raise y'all's rates because we need more energy. We have to build this, we have to build that. Then you should have thought of that.
AI is expected to fuel a 15 to 20% increase in data centers and the power they require in just the next 5 years. For the News 4i team, I'm Jay Avila. A homeowner thought he was getting his home weatherized by CPS Energy for free. Instead, a repair crew left him with a house full of holes.
The contractor selected by CPS Energy left 88 holes in the exterior of this East Side home built in 1925.
It looked like someone got an AK-47 and just drive by the house. It looked horrible.
Randy Morin says his mother-in-law qualified to have insulation added to the walls and attic under CPS Energy's Casa Verde program, which provides free upgrades to improve energy efficiency for low-income residents. Morin says instead of going through the sheetrock on the interior walls like the family would have preferred, the contractor, GGA Construction, punched holes in the exterior siding to insert the foam insulation.
It's less costly to repair sheetrock. It's also less noticeable.
Morin says the contractor got the go-ahead from his mother-in-law while he wasn't there, and she did not understand boring through the outside of the home would leave holes only partly filled with putty that weren't sanded or painted.
I called down to CPS and I actually complained to them. What they told me was, we're going to get in contact with the contractor. We're going to have them reach out to you for more clarification. The clarification I got was, hey, she signed off on it.
Maureen says he had to pay almost $3,000 to another company to cover up the holes. The contractor who did the work for CPS Energy did not respond to our phone call, but the city-owned utility sent us a statement. If a homeowner has an issue with the workmanship of the energy efficiency improvements paid for by the Casa Verde program, such issues should be taken up with the contractor who performed the work, who should then investigate the allegation and resolve the matter directly with the homeowner. We also contacted the Insulation Contractors Association, which sets standards for the industry. The executive director said injecting foam insulation through exterior walls is an acceptable method, but best practices are to fully repair any damage caused by the process. Maureen thinks if CPS Energy is selecting the contractors, they should do more to resolve disputes.
CPS should have more involvement in explaining to the people involved in the project the scope of work.
Maureen says that's especially important since CPS Energy will often be dealing with elderly homeowners as it expands Casa Verde to weatherize and repair 16,000 homes in the next 5 years. For the News 4i team, I'm Jay Avila.
Investigative reporting, uncovering the truth for you. The News 4i team.